It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's build, we are building in the vacation world of Granite Falls, and we are building this nice little log style cabin. And I really wanted to build something like this and get this video out before Christmas, but just Christmas time, just holidays in general are crazy. I just recently went back to work, and if you have watched any of my more recent builds lately, I was on maternity leave for 5 months, the last 5 months basically. At the beginning of August, I was on maternity leave. I had my son at the end of August, and I just went back to work literally this last week. I'm only going back 2 days a week, but because of that and just still adjusting to being a new mom and all of that, it's kind of hard to find the time to actually sit down and do these voiceovers and all of that. But I did have this build ready. I think I've been done with it for 2 weeks now, and I didn't intend for it to be a Christmas build by any means, but I did want it to be a wintry build. I just felt like this log cabin would look so cute surrounded in snow, and I really wanted to get it out obviously in time so that would be relevant. So all of the screenshots, there's snow all over the place. I think it's gorgeous. I think it would be a really nice place for your Sims to maybe rent out with family around the holidays, whether it be for Christmas or New Year's Eve or just during the winter time. And that's basically what I was going for. So obviously I wanted to get this build out before winter became irrelevant. But this rental ends up being able to sleep 6 Sims, I believe. There is a master bedroom that has an attached bathroom, so that has a double bed in there. And then there is more of a kids style room, so it has bunk beds. There's no toddler bed here, so if you were to stay here with a toddler, you would need to bring your own toddler bed. And then the other bedroom has 2 separate beds. That one is more of just a themed bedroom. But basically, any cabin that I've ever stayed in, up in Tahoe, for example, or just anywhere up in the mountains, I feel often there's a themed bedroom, or just the entire cabin itself is themed, whether it's an Airbnb or it's some kind of timeshare or something. I feel it's often a little bit more themed to kind of fit the area. So you'll see as we get closer to actually furnishing the upstairs. I was going to go into detail, but we can go into detail when that time comes. But as you can see, we are just starting to put together the furnishing and basically the floor plan, I guess, of the downstairs. And I wanted this cabin to appear to be a bit older, but not necessarily run down. So we use these cottage living. I think these are these, I can never remember which. No, I think this is the country kitchen kit. The country kitchen kit and the cottage living pack, when it comes to the actual cabinets and countertops, for whatever reason, they are very similar, but I can never remember which one's which. And of course, my video is so fast, I can't even tell which ones I actually grabbed when it comes to looking at the icon. But I want to say that this is from the country kitchen kit because of the little, I don't even know what those would be necessarily, the little curtains on the back side of the island. So we actually end up getting rid of the island, and we end up putting a half wall there, and then we place a larger dining table in the middle of that open area, basically, because I didn't want there to only be just 3 spots for potentially 6 Sims to sit at. So if you had a full house at this rental property, only being able to seat 3 people at the island just seems kind of silly. So we end up getting rid of that, like I said, putting a half wall and whatnot. And then this place definitely needed a fireplace because, again, I imagined it being really perfect. I mean, year-round for sure, but I wanted this to be a snowy style, wintry getaway kind of spot. And so definitely wanted to include a fireplace so it would be a nice and cozy spot for your Sims. And I feel it just only makes sense to have a fireplace in a log cabin. And then we're just figuring out some other random furnishings to just kind of fill the space a little bit. I do end up getting rid of the fireplace that is here in the living room area, because that's where I end up placing the stairs to go upstairs. At first I was Oh wait, I haven't put any stairs yet. That's kind of important since we have an entire second floor here. But I think I use like lots of cottage living, as you can probably tell already. We use some Seasons. Well, actually, I feel like we use quite a bit of Seasons. I can't really think of exactly which items we use from Seasons, but we definitely do that. We use some stuff from Cats and Dogs and the Country Kitchen Kit, which we already talked about. I mean, I feel like that's like the majority of the items that we use. And then I think upstairs, one of the rugs is from the Little Campers Kit. And I think actually in that room with the Little Campers Kit rug, which is actually like a blanket, we end up using some beds from Island Living, but they actually go really well up there. It's like a green bedding swatch, and then the actual like bed frame is wood, and it matches really well with the outdoor retreat like furniture set, I think. Or maybe we use Seasons up there. I don't even know, but basically I love how like The Sims, even if you think about Island Living and Outdoor Retreat, those are very different styles. One is obviously a lot more like Island Living-esque, and then the other one is a lot more like campy, cabin style. They go really well together, assuming you use the right swatches and stuff, but I feel like they're pretty interchangeable, which is really nice. So I was glad I was able to find different items that work really well. That way this build wasn't super repetitive. But as you can see, we have this nice little like somewhat closed off room. I didn't want to make it seem too closed off because it's the room with the fireplace. So I wanted it to be very inviting and very cozy. So we have a couple of chairs here. I think those chairs are from the Cottage Living pack. And this is just going to be like a nice cozy area where your Sims can sit, have a cup of tea. I end up placing a little tea set in between the two chairs there. And I place lots of plants in there because it's almost like a sunroom style kind of room. So I placed some plants up like where the windows are, as if they're hanging kind of like from the top of the window. I thought that would be a nice touch in there. I feel like I went a little overboard with the plants, but I feel like it makes kind of sense because it's like the Sims that are staying in this log cabin, they probably enjoy the outdoors, and that's why they're visiting Granite Falls, but they're not so in love with the outdoors to the point where they want to just like stay in the actual like campsite in a tent. But it's kind of nice to think like, okay, well, maybe some of these plants hanging are native plants. And with the big windows that we have in that room, I feel like it makes sense. Like those plants can really thrive year round because they do get direct and some indirect sunlight as well in that room. So I wanted to incorporate lots of plants in there, and it just kind of gave the room some dimension, I felt. And then now I think we're just moving on into this big, it's almost like a grand, like, what's that called? A great room. I'll say a grand room, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. This nice, like, great room. It ends up being pretty sectioned off. Like, over here, where we're placing the bookcase right now, we end up not placing a bookcase. We place a little TV, a coffee table, a couch, and like a nice little rug that I feel like just goes really well with this entire build. I felt like using these like more worn down, used looking rugs, like slightly dirty rugs almost, went really well with this build because again, it's a log cabin. It's probably a little bit older. Not to say that like this rug has never been changed out over the years, but I don't know, I just feel like it makes sense. Like I imagine your Sims, you know, go out on hikes during the day and then they come back and I don't know, maybe they don't take off their shoes. So like these rugs are going to get a little bit more used and worn down, but I don't know. I don't want it to come off as like dingy and gross though, if that makes any sense. But I did end up placing just the smaller TV because I feel like even though your Sims are staying inside in a cabin versus staying in the campsite in a tent, I feel like they may not still watch that much TV because they're really here just to like spend time with family. Maybe they're here to like for a family reunion or just for the holidays or just literally a getaway, and they want to like, I don't know, get more in touch with nature. They want to cook, they want to bake, they want to just hang out by the fire, read a book kind of thing. But there's nothing against like wanting to like snuggle up and watch a movie one day or something, like if the weather permits or something. So I placed a small TV because I didn't feel a big TV was very necessary. It's like, I feel like personally, if I were to have my Sims vacation here, which I did have some Sims Vacation here so I could play test. I didn't really have them watch TV. I made them watch TV just to make sure that the TV worked, and I think I actually play tested on New Year's Eve, so they did want to watch New Year's Eve TV. But other than that, I don't really see myself having my Sims watch TV here very often. But since I did have or incorporate some like kids stuff here, I don't know, maybe the kids that you bring along with you, or a kid that you bring with you, or a teen or something, maybe they really aren't into the outdoors, and I don't know, maybe they kind of like resent the fact that their parents dragged them on this family vacation. Like during winter break, they want to hang out with their friends and stuff, and I imagine there may or may not be self-service here, so they just decide that they're going to sit in front of the couch and watch a movie or watch a show or something. Of course, that's all up to you guys. This is just me using my imagination when it comes to like why I place the items that I do. But as you can see, we have this nice little like, I don't know, what would you call it, like an alcove kind of area underneath the stairs. I felt like that would be a nice place to just place some shoes down, because if you are staying here any time of year, but especially in the winter, you're probably going to want to take off your shoes because they're going to be covered in snow, therefore they're going to be wet, and you don't want to track that through the cabin. So having a place to place your shoes and your coats and scarves and all of that, I felt like it only made sense to place down some shoe racks and like a little coat rack kind of area. And then down here, we do have a half bath, so there's just a toilet and a sink in here. We end up placing some, like, you know, quote-unquote storage for your Sims to be able to grab some towels. I imagine there's, like, toilet paper, stuff like that in here, like backup storage. And then upstairs, we do have a connected, like, Jack and Jill bathroom between the two bedrooms, and then there's another bedroom or bathroom that is ensuite to the master. So this place actually has lots of different, like, bathrooms, which again makes sense if you were to have a full house here and have 6 Sims staying here with you. I feel like that gives your Sims a lot of variety and a lot of different places to be able to get away, take a shower, take a bath, go to the bathroom. Obviously, they won't be able to take a shower or take a bath downstairs, but it's just another place for your Sims to be able to relieve themselves. And then I think we may hop outside. I mean, we're definitely on the porch right now. I can't remember really like the order that I did this build, because at the time I was considering when I was going to landscape, I was thinking that I was going to actually have a Sim here during the winter time so I could landscape while it was snowy. But I do want this place to look pretty good and like somewhat lush year round, so I opted to just decorate and landscape just right here, I think. So it'll look good year round. During the winter, it obviously is going to look pretty bare and pretty dead, but I think landscaping during the winter when there's like light to heavy snow, it still looks really good. When landscaping looks really bad is during the fall, when everything's like bare but it's not covered in snow, like you can like see all the twigs and the branches where it like, you know, would normally be covered with greenery and leaves. So it ends up looking really good, I feel, still in the winter, but during the fall it's probably going to be kind of like a little bit more ugly and bare. But we end up placing a barbecue, a rocking chair, a little card table, or a don't break the llama table, whatever you decide to have your Sims play here. I just feel like it's kind of a nice thing to do while you're on vacation. Like my family, we love playing cards. We play progressive rummy a lot. Like pretty much anytime we get together with my mom's side of the family, you can almost guarantee that we are going to play progressive rummy, and I think everyone in the family knows how to play. I think I learned when I was probably like, I don't know, I feel like 12 maybe. Like if you know what progressive rummy is, it is a pretty extensive game. It takes hours sometimes depending on how many people you have playing and how fast you're moving and all that. But I just really wanted to include a card table because anytime that my family goes up to Tahoe, which we go every year, my parents have a timeshare up in like the Incline Village, Nevada area. So we always play cards when we go up there, and I really just wanted to include that because it just reminds me of my own personal trip that I take to a cabin. It's not a log cabin, but it's similar in that sense. But We are just doing some more landscaping out here. I wanted to definitely add a picnic table with like a little lantern so your Sims could potentially eat out here at night. They probably aren't going to do that too much during the winter, but you know, if they're staying here during the summer, the spring, or on a day where it's not freezing cold, they could definitely have a meal outside. And I'm just adding some terrain paint to give it a little bit more texture, which I think the terrain paint looks amazing here because the entire surrounding area of this cabin in this specific lot does have quite a bit of texture and terrain paint to it. So it was really easy to make it look a bit more seamless without really trying, if that makes any sense. And then, of course, I wanted to incorporate like a little fire pit here. For whatever reason, I can't remember which seat it is. I want to say it's like the little tiny stump, like tree stump chair. Your Sims like won't sit on it, or they sit on it and then the second you have them like roast a marshmallow or something, they like stand up and don't do it. It's really weird. I left it though because I kind of liked the variety of the different types of like chairs that are in this spot. So I didn't end up moving it, but if that bugs you, you guys can switch it out for like an actual camp chair or whatever if you have that in your Sims inventory. Or you just switch it out altogether. I mean, I really don't mind what you guys do with my builds. But as you can see, we've moved on upstairs. We've put together the floor plan, oh my gosh, rather quickly. And we are now decorating the master bedroom. This one, I end up using pretty much all of the outdoor retreat pack, like furniture set. And we do mix in some cottage living. I think we have a cottage living painting, and I can't remember if the curtains we use. I think the curtains we end up using on the windows are from Cats and Dogs, and then we use a cottage living rug to just tile the colors together and the packs together. We do end up moving maybe I do it off camera actually, because I think I realized it way later in the build that they have an attached bathroom, but as you can see, there's no door leading to it. So I want to say I end up doing that off camera later. I think I move the actual door to the bedroom over a little bit, and then I slide the dresser over a tad, and then I add a door like where the plant is right now. Yeah, I must do that off camera because I just finished editing this video and I don't think I came across that at all. And then we end up furnishing the upstairs bathrooms completely off camera because they're pretty similar to the ones downstairs. The master bedroom or bathroom does have a tub, and then the Jack and Jill bathroom that is shared between the other two bedrooms. I think there's just a shower in there. Personally, I feel like when I play, I make my Sims take showers for the most part, unless they have some time or they're like really stressed or I want them to use like the soaks or something. I'll have them take a bath, but for the most part, I always opt to just have them take a shower because it's typically a lot quicker, and I don't often take baths. I know that there's people that definitely take baths regularly, but I'm not one of those people, so I don't often think that way. But as you can see, we have moved on into what I would imagine would be the bedroom that younger kids would stay in. I mean, there's nothing against teens. Teens can definitely stay in here, but I do place down some toys, and it's a little bit more kiddie, but it's still within the theme of outdoor retreat. I feel we placed down that little bear chair, that little like plush bear seat, and then we placed down some toys here, and that giant Sasquatch toy plushie thing, and I feel like the colors just really tie in well with the whole theme of just like staying in a cabin and being in the outdoors and all of that. And then this is the bedroom where I end up using the island living beds. So I placed two of them. They're not bunk beds or anything like that. I feel like bunk beds are just a lot more fun for kids. So that's why I wanted to incorporate that in here. And also this room is a little bit smaller and kind of more narrow, so bunk beds only made sense. And then this room is more of like a bear themed. So I feel like that makes sense because you have the bear walking around when you're staying in Granite Falls, and you can interact with the bear. It's just a person in a bear suit, but your Sims react to it like it's a real bear, even though they like know it's not a real bear. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they know it's not a real bear because they talk to it and they can have like an actual relationship with the person in the bear. I don't know, but we're pretty much coming up on the end of the build. We're coming into the screenshots here pretty soon. So I want to thank you guys so much for sticking around. If you did, stick around for the screenshots because all the screenshots are in the winter and there's lots of snow and I think it looks really beautiful. And I used to upload about once a week, but I think I'm cutting it down to like once every 2 weeks. So just make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification bell so you're aware of when I post my videos. And I hope to see you in a future build. Bye.